It's the Jacket Off Podcast,
what
episode
number.
27.
There you go.
See, I knew exactly what number it was. That's why I went to YouTube
That's
to see.
what you were doing.
3 months ago when we recorded the last.
Yes, 3 months.
3 long. It was actually, today's what, February 4th? I think we posted that on January 27th, something like that. 17th is when we posted that last one.
Oh, so it's 3 weeks.
January 17th. So
that's about right.
3 weeks.
That's about right.
3 weeks ago, we embarked on the grand journey that is life. And then we come here to report back on our limited findings, and that's why the podcast exists.
Turns out fool's gold, it's just pyrite.
Oh, wow.
It's not actually gold.
So, at the end of the last podcast, I also checked that too. What we were talking about was how we weren't very sure that you were going to even get to see Marshmallow. And lo and behold,
were we?
You dropped at the end of the podcast, you were like, yeah, I haven't gotten my tickets yet. Hopefully I'll be able to get them tickets. And then a few days later, you're like, guess how much the tickets were? And then I laughed, and then we all had a great time, and you spent nearly, let's see, I'm going to say, what would it be, 4 times? Yeah, about 4. With all the fees and everything else, it would have been about 4 times the cost of everybody else's tickets. So did you have 4 times the fun? As everybody else did?
Sure.
Oh, you would say that. You would say that. Just sure. Well, I had fun. Another grand friend adventure in the books. At least in my opinion. We always come back leaving with some sort of catchphrase or some sort of thing that we'll remember forever that nobody else will ever even understand. Really, in many ways, it's kind of like being part of an army platoon. We sort of just
go out to war. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Not to compare the two things, because obviously there's a disparity between the two experiences. Yeah. Listen, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to go in there and fight for the right to party. I think it holds up as one of the least shitty experiences we've ever had actually getting and going and doing a concert. Getting there, going there, doing it, doing stuff, coming back. Literally the only thing that held us up was what hotel we were supposed to be in, and by God, if that was the only problem that we had, that's literally the greatest possible of all possible outcomes. It couldn't get better than that.
Turns out it was across the street.
And even then, what I was half expecting, which has happened to me before. What's happened to me before is that we were going to go to that hotel, and what had happened was that when we turned on the navigation, we typed in a hotel that was like fucking 15 miles across Buffalo, and we would have had to load all of our shit back in the car, eat the $20, and drive to the other hotel. And I've done that with an airport before. I've gone to the wrong airport before, Dylan, because I just happened to be in the one state where there's 2 different airports within 20 miles of each other that service a separate set of airlines. I navigated to an airport that literally isn't across the state, it's across a town. And that was in, I want to say it was Louisville, Kentucky is where I want to say it was 2 different airports.
They make baseball bats there.
They sure do, the old sluggers. So, to put that back on track, barring any other major exclusions, I feel like the concert going experience was great. The bar served a mighty fine Jaeger.
Oh yeah, fresh off the cold on tap Jaeger machine.
Did they have that? I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah, they
wasn't paying
had.
attention to this. So it was probably evident that when you walked up there, you scanned the bar briefly to find out if they had such a machine, and then once you did, you knew exactly what drink that you were going to have for the rest of the evening,
Well, I mean,
and everybody else was going to have.
That's how
I'll
I
have what
drink our
he's got.
Jaegers. Jaeger Red Bulls.
Um, oh, I can still feel the pain in my extremities and my sinews and my joints. Literally, I woke up last night to go piss, and I was walking to the bathroom in my bare feet, and the bottom of my feet hurt. That's never happened to me before. Where like just walking around and it wasn't pain in my legs, it wasn't pain in my knees, it was on the bottom of my foot. Hurt so fucking bad that I was like limping. My own weight was causing me pain. I was literally like gravity was causing me immense physical harm because of how I feel like I'm 100 years old. Like I went to bed last night at around, I think probably 11:30. I woke up this morning at like 8. And that to me would be like, wow, that's some great sleep right there. Should feel refreshed. I fucking come out here, I do a bunch of shit, I make breakfast, I make coffee, and then I go this is only a couple hours ago. I go and sit on the fucking couch, I start watching something, instant fucking fall asleep again for an hour.
Awesome.
I took a nap after going to bed. It's like, what the fuck?
Nothing feels better than doing that.
Woke up. I'm
gonna crush a nap real quick.
When you know that you're fat and out of shape when you wake up and you're like, oh god, that sleep really took it out of me. I think I gotta fucking go crush a quick nap.
I think I woke up prematurely. I'm gonna try again.
And half the time you split the difference between it making you feel like $1 million or making you feel like you are going to
$1.50
lose the will to live. Yeah. It's like if you sleep even just like 5 minutes too long, like I've had instances where I've woken, like tried to wake up on the, you ever try to wake up and like you're trying to wake up so hard that you think that you're dreaming waking up?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've dreamt I've woken up.
Right, but I mean, like you in the process of trying to wake up, like you literally are like caught in between fucking worlds. You're like, you're trying to move your arms. You think you're moving your arms. You don't know if you're moving your arms.
Yeah, you gotta decide. You gotta fool yourself into thinking, what's the dream and what's reality?
Great. I got stuck in the philosophy section at the library again, like on that other episode.
I'm in the middle of being and non-being.
I'm Schrodinger's fucking asshole. That's a title. Yeah, I actually did manage to wake up from that fucking I don't even know how long I was asleep. I had no concept of time this whole morning until about now. Like now I know what time it is. I woke up at like 1. But before that I just had no concept of how long I had been doing anything. I'd put in like a load of laundry and that shit was just sitting there. I fucking jumped up from the couch and be like, fuck, my laundry's gonna get wrinkly.
Don't want that. Gotta look presentable.
I gotta look presentable in my ratty ass off gray white shirt that looks like it's already dirty. And my mouth was like a cat litter box this morning. I mean, it was the same as every other night we were that's another common theme of when we do stuff. I'm either in the driest climate that's ever existed, like the humidity is 2%, and that's when somebody turns the faucet on. And then either that or I'm in the coldest possible environment that ever existed. Like last night when I the night before that when I pulled the fucking cot out at your house, I go into, first of all, I go into Andrew's room. I know I described it to you that he was Hugh Hefner around his room. I don't know if that was me accurately, fully describing the scenario that I came into. I'm like, I came upstairs. I was like, oh my God, I don't have anything to sleep on. I got to get this cot. I knock on Andrew's door. Andrew. He's like, what? I walk in. He's got his gray fucking fleece terry cloth, whatever fuck robe on, and it's open. And he's just got boxers on. And he's just in the middle of walking around his room. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, it wasn't like he was sitting on his bed watching something. He was like walking around. I was like, hey, buddy. He's like, what's up? I'm like, you got that cot? He fucking goes and digs through his closet, destroys half his closet, takes that out. And then I left, closed the door, and I was like, what the fuck just happened there? He was explaining to me, he's like, yeah, I'm just watching this stream of this girl play Fortnite, and then I was making myself a drink. He's like, I don't got any booze in there. I don't know what I'm doing with it. It's like, okay, all right, cool. Glad to see you're
See you later, pal.
glad to see you're having a good time. All right, I'll catch you later. And then I brought the cot into your room, and then I fell asleep for about 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I felt a strong mist, like I was below Niagara, like when I was about to hit, the boat. What's
Maid of the
it's
Mist?
called the Maid of the Mist. Yeah, I was on the Maid of the Mist, and I mean, I might have been dreaming it, but all of a sudden, I just felt a nice spritz all over my face. And who did the spritz but Fritz? Fritz did the spritz. And then again, the name that I had come up with the next morning to describe exactly how that sounded and felt was a carpet shampooer. So, not wanting to sleep next to the carpet shampooer, I took my one blanket that was made out of tissue paper that Andrew gave me and went downstairs and tried to fall asleep on the couch. As I was in the fetal position on the couch, just like any other time, I hear everybody who lives at the house besides you come in the door with 4 carts worth of groceries and fucking 4 carts worth of groceries, everything in the world that makes a sound. They had it. They make their way upstairs. They probably see a giant blob on the couch in the darkness, and my eyes are just closed and they're fluttering, and I'm cursing myself under my own breath, and I'm freezing. And then I fall asleep again. Wake up about 8 o'clock in the morning. Now at this point, I'm really feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it now. Cold as fuck. I go back up to your room, set the cot up again. Start sleeping again. Get through about an hour and a half, 2 hours of that sleep. Wake up cold again. Look over, realize you cracked the fucking window open because you got a Bitcoin rig going at 900 degrees. And you got 400 other machine systems, TVs, screens, and fucking everything else going in there. So you got to crack the window open. Like, I'm closing that bitch. Then I fucking lay down again and don't even get back to sleep, because then you wake up and wave your hand in my fucking face. Hey.
That's because you woke me up.
Overall,
I was the perfect temperature of 12 degrees in here.
Yeah, because you have your fucking blankets and all your pillows that are pretty much blankets because they're flat and shitty. You could just pile everything all over
I have
yourself.
one blanket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have your one blanket and 400 pillows.
When I go to sleep,
blankets.
my core temperature rises to about 950 degrees.
I was just... I don't understand. Like, me too. Like, I totally sweat when I sleep, but like the kind of conditions we're talking about at the Dillon house are like, you could fluctuate so quickly that I really don't get it. I have no idea. It definitely ain't no Energy Star rated fucking home. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't sweat when I sleep. I just need to shut my whole body functions down by freezing it. That's the only way I can sleep.
The only way you can sleep is to get to like that absolute zero where molecular function stops.
Well, yeah, my molecules are just vibrating a little bit.
That's just the G fuel at that point,
It's
keeping your body alive. You've reached stasis. It's like where you sort of started to you lower everything, kind of like David Blaine dropping into that fucking tank of water. You just lower everything, and then it's like Ghost in the Shell. You're just fucking float, or Minority Report. You're just floating in that pool, and then in order to wake up, you slowly have to bring your body temperature up to normal.
I gotta feed 10,000 milligrams of caffeine into my body so that my everything starts running a little faster. Speeds
Eventually,
up.
eventually, the kind of dystopian future that we're living in would be where to go to sleep, we pump ourselves full of like melatonin and Ambien and a bunch of other shit in an IV, and we just lay next to the bed. And then to wake ourselves up, we pump fucking G Fuel or pump caffeine and nootropics into our brain to wake up. That's how we function.
Sounds like a good world.
Good.
Is it covered by insurance?
Is it covered by insurance? It's like Year Zero. That's like the whole thing about Year Zero is that album was basically like, we're gonna give everybody a happy drug during the day and a go to bed drug during the night, and that's everybody in the whole world. Not that nobody's never done that concept before. There's totally like Equilibrium. Equilibrium did that, the opiate of the masses concept, where everybody was all hopped up on fucking drugs that made them not feel anything. Then it's me sitting here on the couch being like, hey, that's insulting to people who really don't feel anything. I wish I could just get a drug that just makes me not feel anything, but I do that every day.
Yeah.
All these people are on vacation practically.
You can get your ass a fucking mute button, Captain Cough a Lot.
I know, but believe me, I'm still coughing out the weekend. That's basically what that's all about.
It's all blood.
I'm coughing out the past 3 days of impurities and all various other manners of
fucking Zod,
foreign bodies. Coughing out Zod, dude. As I stated, I really have no desire to eat pizza ever, and not ever again. I mean, let's not say things we don't mean. But for God's sakes, I just don't want to eat it for a while. It's over with.
I had it last night.
It's too much. Wow. It's upsetting to say the least.
How's that upsetting? What we eat wasn't even pizza.
Well, the second one wasn't pizza. The first one was good pizza. My bodily functions, and not just anything to do with eating, it felt like all of my basic bodily functions were interrupted by cheese and sauce and grease and bread over and over and over again, and then wash it all down with Jaeger. Eat a slice of pizza, take a shot of Jaeger. Eat a slice of pizza, take a shot of Jaeger.
Sounds like a Tuesday.
And then the next day, I'm clutching my abdomen because it's clearly seized. I need a muscle relaxer in order to live. Fuck. I can't stop. I need a fucking lozenge. So, Marshmallow was great.
Yeah.
That was really one of the top. That was tops. That was absolutely tops. Got in a nice mosh pit. I got up just behind Justin in the front at one point because he was at the front, and I don't know how I did that. It was one of those scenarios where I was so drunk that since I was kind of following the ebb and flow of the crowd, I would lean forward like about to fall over, and then the crowd would like sort of like pick me up and move me forward as I was going forward. And then as it was going back, I would lean back and the crowd would just push me back and shit would just go back. And then finally the final push brought me all the way to the front. And I was just like, oh.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin, I'm at the front now. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. And then, then suddenly the crowd moves me side to side and then I'm kind of wiggling around and then I go back. And then I'm back near you in the little mosh pit area. I was just like, oh, Dylan, I'm back here in the mosh pit area. You want to go get a Jaeger? That was basically how the night went.
Yeah.
Uh, I had that happen a couple other times to me. There's been other times where somehow, like Mysteryland was a good example of it during Skrillex, where we had gotten real far into the crowd by just sort of not knowing how we did it. Like we sort of made our way in there and then it
rolled
started
our way
filling
down
in,
the
and then
hill.
yeah, we rolled down the hill, and then when it finally evened out, people sort of just pushed us into the front without us knowing it. We were just like,
Ooh,
hey,
this is fun.
where we go? It's like crowd surfing with your feet still on the ground. You're like part of one giant gelatinous mass of people, which in some ways feels kind of comforting in certain scenarios where you're just like, yeah, I don't have control over my life. It's cool. We're good. Everything's fine. It's a great feeling, actually. The feeling of reckless abandon that one can get from an EDM concert or even a metal show. I haven't been to a metal show in a long time. That's one where, like, I keep telling you, like, when metal shows come up here, just be like, dude, you want to go to a fucking metal show? Just because.
Go hang
just
out
for old time's sake.
Dude sweat.
Yeah. Just because sometimes that feels right, you know? Just to go out there and fucking kind of headbang and get your... and in many ways, though, an EDM show, the proper EDM show is actually a very similar format. You can get most of what you'd get from a metal show from an EDM show from the crowd participation aspect, the mosh pit aspects, what have you. It's kind of like a ska show. Felt like when we were in that mosh pit, it's like somebody's gonna start skanking.
Well, yeah, you don't actually mosh. You kind of just dance around on each other.
Yeah, I feel like
It's like
the loosely held definition of that, dancing around each other, that feels right. It feels exactly what
more
it is.
of a dance
dancing
circle.
on top of it, dancing on top. Yeah, a dance circle where everybody's kind of dancing on top of one another. That's pretty cool to me. Who would have sort of believed that the guy in his late 20s, where he used to go to metal shows and be like, "You're such a pussy, get in the mosh pit." Now my favorite thing is, yeah, let's dance around each other on top of one another. That's all I'm really comfortable with doing. Can we just do that? And if I get too tired, I might need another Jaeger. Dude, when I was in there, oh my God. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was like, all right, gotta duck out. Put my hands on my knees and just fucking wiggled myself back out through the back and just sort of stood back a little for a second and was just like, okay, you're not going to die. It's all good. You've only had 500 Red Bulls. Just don't die. And then I sort of get the blood back into my head and I'm like, all right, here we go. Okay, cool.
I'm not going to die.
I'm not going to die. That was stupid. And then fucking 25 minutes later, I'm in the dance circle again. I'm going to fucking die, dude.
I'm dead.
It was interesting. Oh my God. And when I was trying to move to the center of the crowd, that girl who got like straight up in my face. Oh my God. I never had anybody so, she was almost like a, can I see your manager type of chick? Like she's a 46-year-old mid-suburban housewife stuck in a 25-year-old girl's body. She was like, you are not going through here without saying, I forget what the fuck she said. I was like, okay, not only am I not going to say that, but I'm going to fuck the right off the other way. And you could go on with your life. I don't give a shit about going over here. I'll go back to the fucking dance on top of each other pavilion. You can go fuck yourself. I don't see you dancing on anybody here. You ain't going home with anybody acting like that. That's all I'm trying to say to you. If you want to come home with somebody, if that's your game for going to Marshmallow, I'm gonna go to Marshmallow and I'm gonna find me some D at Marshmallow. You ain't gonna do it by saying you are not coming through here. You're gonna do it by going over to the fucking let's dance all over each other area and doing some of that and lighten the fuck up. Come on. Why? You're looking at we're at a giant marshmallow concert. He's the guy with a marshmallow on his head. Act like it. It's not a fucking Dimmu Borgir concert. It's not Guar. It's a fucking guy with a marshmallow on his head. Singing emo songs and fucking shooting confetti everywhere. Big smiley faces all over his fucking lights and visuals. Little purple lights shining all in your eyes. Act like that's what's happening. Not at church. Rant over. So, what else? I feel like we've seen enough of each other over the past few days.
Yeah, I don't got anything to say to you.
It's kind of a like when you're like, hey, you want to record today, and I'm like trying to think out of the many things that we've talked about over the past few days. We didn't record any of that, and I can't recall most of it. So what the fuck are we gonna do? Last night, when or not last night, the night before, when we were all fucking when we were all getting philosophically hammered on fucking Chardonnay and Cabernet and
Carlo Rossi.
Carlo Rossi. See, the one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, Chardonnay.
It's like, can I interest you? Can I interest you in a nice Chardonnay or Cabernet or Carlo Rossi? Can I get you a Carlo Rossi?
Uncle Carlos come to party.
I again found myself in the very familiar scenario of having to play moderator to the Dylan and Andrew Philosophy Hour hosted by me. And it's very funny and it is incredibly entertaining. And I feel like since I never know when it's going to happen, I wish I could record it.
Really?
But I don't.
I'm pretty sure it was you talking the whole time.
No, you guys. I was listening to you guys. Sort of. You were talking to me, and I was sort of like spinning a couple yarns like I normally do. But then you were looking at each other as if you're like, oh, great. Now Dylan's going to start in on his fucking... And this is how Andrew was going on it. He was looking at you like, oh, great. Dylan's going to start his fucking... Everything's fake and life sucks and everything's like... He's like his fucking nihilist rant. And then we'd get in the weeds on some fucking stupid thing we were talking about. Mine was like corporate fake bullshit. That's what my whole... That was the topic of my seminar, for at least part of it, was what the fuck am I doing at my stupid job and all that shit. I would really love to have played that back. I really, really want to hear it, but I can't.
Nope.
I feel like what we need to do is not to try to capture that magic, because sometimes it just happens, but maybe every once in a while, if I'm down there, I think we should make a point. If we don't got any other like real big engagements or at least one night available, we all got to get wine, and that's all we drink. And we all just got to fucking sit around and just record whatever comes out for 2 hours. And then that'll be like a bonus. That's a bonus pod. And it doesn't, we could even edit it together if there's some parts where it's either like incomprehensible or it's just blank, but at least just to get the meat and potatoes.
I was about to say, is that something you went on the internet?
We could, but that's one where like, even if I just brought down my laptop and just did some recording on there, and I could just do a small video out of it, not just 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I'll edit it. And we'll just do some nice highlights, some nice drunk highlights. I think that'd be hot. I think that'd be a great one. Every once in a while, just do that. Because I feel like there's got to be some gold in there. There really does.
Sound like that episode of That 70s Show where they get the tape recorder and they record their ideas and they play them back. This is like Monty Python. I'm going to record this.
I think what most people have to understand with the whole it's in two forms. You can either do it while you're drunk or while you're high. If you do it while you're high, there's a good chance that if you listen to it back, most of it's going to be garbage. But there will be one thing in there, and I can attest to this because what I do often is if I'm high and I find myself in like a very like familiar state of mind or like a weird state of mind, I'll come up with this shit and I'll open up my laptop and I just have this like gobbledygook fucking Google Doc open that I just write things on while I'm baked. And then the next day I'll just pull out like one thing from that. The point is, in order to get one thing while you're high or drunk, you have to do this. You have to fucking have like 3 hours worth of recording and content just to find that one little gem. It's like making a movie. You got to do 500 takes, and then you just get that one little nugget where it all lined up. That's how stand-ups do it. Stand-up comedians, you write down everything, even if it's garbage. That's why I was listening to this Game Grumps thing earlier. I was like, I got caught up in a Game Grumps because it was the first Game Grumps I had ever seen where they just talked seriously for 15 minutes. Like, you know how normally they're just trying to riff on games and that, I mean, that's their whole format is just riffing. For some weird reason, I was watching it. They were playing Odyssey and they're just like, yeah, before I went on break, we had worked so hard in 2017. I had awful fucking depression. I was like, what the fuck is happening with this episode? I felt like it was in the Twilight Zone. And I was like enthralled in it because Dan was talking about how he was trying to start bands in his like mid 20s, late 20s, and he started Ninja Sex Party in his 30s. And the whole time before he turned 30 was spent trying to come to terms with the fact that he may have missed the boat. Like, everybody thinks that if you're not making music in your 20s with the hope of that music becoming some sort of success, that you're done. The craziest part about that is it's really not the case. That happens very rarely. But like somebody like what's his name from LCD Sound System, he started making music till he was 40. That's a weird extreme example, but like the only success that this guy had before joining Game Grumps was with a band that he started in his 30s. And it's kind of a weird parody band or whatever, but like that's why I was kind of caught up in it, because I was like, that's just an interesting thing that you don't hear somebody often talk about, is like, if they're successful now, like why, you know, and they waited a long time, how did they do it? Because you never hear stories like that. Mostly what you hear is like, yeah, I started doing this when I was fucking 11 and I didn't stop until I was fucking 25 and now I'm rich. Very, very rarely do you hear about the guy who is kind of a burnout. He's like, yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing in my 20s. I was kind of playing in bands. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was self-producing some music. And then, you know, in my 30s, I realized, you know, I got to do something. So I did it. It was just interesting.
Do you have a jar of Dijon mustard on your windowsill behind you?
Let me get my pen and I'll see if I can point to it. I'll go the other way here.
No,
I forget
it's the wrong way.
Oh, right.
Other way, on your windowsill. It's got a red label and a green cap. Over a
Right
little
there?
more. A little more. Other way. Yeah, that.
Right here?
Yeah, that thing.
What are we looking at here on the window? So I got two snowman candles and then one like not incense burner kind, but like one where you put a candle in it.
Oh, it's a snowman?
That's a snowman right
It
there.
looks like a jar of Dijon mustard. With
Right
the green,
here?
Yeah, with the green cap and a red label.
Yeah, that's a snowman right there, right next to the guitar.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Anyway, now that we solved that crisis, um, the the other thing that was weird about that was that they even titled the episode "Real Talk," which I was like, oh, I don't know, that can't be real talk, but it really was. um, you don't often find that with somebody like those dudes, somebody like Aaron or Dan or who, whatever. Like, it's weird to hear him say, like, before we did this, I was caught in a major fucking bout of depression or whatever, and I'm like, that guy just really doesn't seem like that kind of dude. It's just weird how many people you run into who are like, I'm pretty fucked up. Like, and you've never you would I've run into more people like at my work who I talk to shit about, like stuff like this, and like just people out there in the world where like or just friends or whoever, and it's just like everybody is fucked. Everybody is fucked up mentally. Everybody. And it's so weird because it's just based on degrees. It's not based on anything else. It's just like, are you at 1% fucked up or 100% fucked up? And that's the spectrum. The people who are 1% fucked up might as well just not be, but there's something in there. There's always something. There's always something, and that's the lesson for the day. Remember, as you're walking out there in the world at large, when you're talking to people, if you just sit there and think about it for a second, you're talking to a fucked up person. 1% to 100%. We don't know. We have no idea how, like, to the level to which they're fucked up. That's the best part, is that we're walking around in society all day just looking at people fucking doing stuff and whatever. That girl in the audience at the fucking Marshmello concert, she's like 50% fucked up. That's only a good guess, though. I don't know. Maybe she was just having a bad day. She was just having a bad day because she didn't drink enough Jaeger. That's all it was. She didn't have enough Jaeger bombs, and she was having a tough time because she's right in the center of the crowd and she can't go back to the bar or else she'll lose her fucking spot, and she's getting all pissy, and her friends fucking left her. They're at the front or the back or wherever the fuck they are, being all fucked up because everybody in the whole concert's all fucked up because they're going to see a guy with a giant marshmallow on his head. That's the world. The world is a giant marshmallow concert filled with people who are varying levels of fucked up and varying levels of intoxication at all times. Brought it back around. Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know. That was just my coffee-fueled rampage for today. I don't know what to tell you. So, I mean, it's an obvious question, but did you play any good games lately?
What was the last game I talked about?
The last game you talked about on the last podcast was... That's a good question. Because I ran back just the end of the podcast, and that was where we were, contemplating the marshmallow thing. I think before that we were talking about games.
I don't even remember.
I think I did not have my Switch at that point, I don't think.
No, you didn't.
That was well before I had that, so we weren't talking about anything to do with that. We were probably talking about I was probably talking about Destiny WW2 because that's kind of where I bought those games just right around then.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What the fuck else?
So I guess between now and then I probably finished South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Yes, I do remember you saying that. Not in that podcast, but just in between.
Yeah.
well, the beauty of all this is that today I was gonna go get a charger at GameStop, but the weather outside is frightful, and this coffee is too delightful. So, um, since there's no place to go,
You should
I
probably
can't
go.
play shit on my Switch.
You should go. Andrew wanted to play Mario Kart later. You should go get a charger.
Fuck. I don't want to drive in this.
Just go down the street to the Wegmans to get a USB-C charger.
The Wegmans. Go to Stewart's and get one of those USB-C chargers.
Yeah, that's all you need.
There. I wish I had something else in this house that was USB-C. This is literally the first thing that I've ever owned that has that. But I don't. It wasn't bad this morning. And it's not something I could tell Becky to go get. It's not somewhere I could just be like, all right, here's what you need to do. Go into Target and see. And I don't even know I guess they would have to have them for phones.
Yeah.
They'd have to have them in the electronics section for just the phones or whatever the fuck.
Well, they probably have the replacement ones right in the Nintendo section, right next to the controllers and shit.
I looked online to try to sort it by the location. Like I typed in the zip code and get the store, to get the store in there, and I searched for the charger, and they only had it from third-party sellers or whatever. I could check it again though. I could do that. I mean, I guess it would be easier for her to go into Target and specifically look for the Nintendo Switch charging cable, because there's only one.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I need you to go in and find a USB-C cable. I don't know. I'll figure it out, whatever I do. But before it died, I was on my trip to Florida, which, by God, I fucking really needed that. I wouldn't have been the same person going to this concert if I didn't fucking go to Florida, even though it was for work. Like, honestly, to just feel like a breeze that wasn't 15 degrees changed my entire fucking existence for a minute. And allowed me to come back and become a human being again. But while I was on that trip, I was playing Odyssey, and I was playing Mario Kart. And then after I got back, I bought Celeste, or Charlotte, or whatever else I used to call it. Camille, which you had suggested to me, and then I fully realized that it was a fucking one of those goddamn games. It's a Dillon fucking hard as shit, repetitive fucking video game that you can't put down, and you want to fucking throw your shit across the room and whatever. I do realize now that I am just really bad at it. I knew I was going to be bad at it, but I was watching other people playing it, and people who are generally good at hard platformers like that, like people who go online and do those shitty Mario Maker fucking levels that people design, those are the people who like Celeste, and those are the people who like Super Meat Boy, and to a certain extent something like Mega Man. But Celeste, at least, the controls are super, super fucking tight. Like, tight as a goddamn drum. That's the only thing. So then suddenly, you're playing it, and you're like, I can't blame this on the controls. I have to blame it on me, because I suck. Because the controls are, like, pinpoint accurate. You can adjust your fucking trajectory in midair and just get it fucking just right. But you can't, because your reaction time's real bad and you suck. So when I'm what?
You're a piece of trash.
Yeah,
I suck. I suck. I'm a piece of trash.
Yes. The mechanic of it is actually, it's a pretty satisfying game, gameplay wise, like just to play the way that it plays. But in another sense, it's like, I die a lot. I was watching Game Grumps before they did that fucking weird episode, and I just watched their first episode of Celeste, and he's going through it like just, I mean, it's his job, but there are certain type of people who are really good at that game, I've watched a couple gameplays of it, and like Brad was playing it from Giant Bomb. He sucked at it. And then I was watching Aaron play it, and he's wicked good at it. So it's at least I don't feel so bad. Or maybe Dan was playing it from Giant Bomb. I can't remember. Somebody was playing it and was really bad at it. It's real hard to talk over. That's for sure, because you're concentrating so hard, you're white knuckling your fucking Joy-Cons just to get that fucking strawberry. Because everybody's trying to get the strawberries. They don't mean anything. The game said they don't mean anything in the beginning of the game. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I think other than that, I haven't played shit on my computer, dude. I haven't played a single fucking thing on this.
Played PUBG for like 5 hours last night.
Really?
Yeah, me, Damon, and Andrew were playing squads.
Damon come over, or was he at his house?
No, he was at his house. Playing squads. We played from like probably like 10 o'clock to 3 in the morning or something.
Jesus. How'd you do?
You haven't
played in a long time, have you?
No, not really. We got like top 10 almost every round, but came really close a couple rounds.
I feel like that's like the only game that if I were gonna play something that I'd want to play, because you can just jump in. I don't really have anything else on here that like, because Forza feels like I wish I had it over here on my console. Like that's one of those games where it's just like I don't really want to boot up Forza on here and fucking try to do like I wish it was just on my console.
Yeah, but you're sitting in a racing seat, dude.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
immersion.
I was thinking the other day, I really want to make some changes to my desk. I already kind of have in the past, but like, I kind of want to get this thing to like, fucking battle station level. Like, really, really do it. And I don't have that much space for like a big ass screen like you have. So that's kind of out. But what I do want to do is get something up on my wall or get something up on an arm or whatever. I have an arm laying around that I don't even use. Part of the problem is that on a weekend, if I feel like doing anything to this, I'm literally a giant piece of shit garbage and I don't go anywhere and I don't do anything. So like if I wanted to go out to the Home Depot and get some fucking screws to mount this shit to Vesa, I have everything. I have the arm and it's all adjustable, and I used to have all that. But like I said, I'm just a piece of shit, and I just think about it and I don't do anything.
It's kind of snowing out. I can't go out. It's too bad. The roads are too bad.
I mean, now I'm looking and it is white out there, dude. This morning I could have went out and did some shit because it wasn't even that bad. But
it ain't a whiteout. I can see the trees across the street out your window right now.
You can't see over here. My house is blocking the snow that's coming over because it's blowing this way. It's blowing against my house. If you look out the window that's on the other side of
so
here,
it's not even snowing, it's just blowing.
No. The snow is going fucking sideways. It's snowing and blowing, baby. Snowing and blowing.
So boy.
That's the title of my new porno. Snowing and Blowing, Part 1. Snowing and Blowing, Part 1. Frosty's Revenge. But I want to do like a double tiered setup for this. I want to do one of those things where, well, I mean, it's like yours. I kind of don't know if I want to change my desk or if I just want to add to it or do something. Like I want to do like a step up on my desk where I can like a shelf, but not a shelf. It's one of those like fucking this type of thing where like boxes in the back and then the monitor goes up. I also wanted to put a pegboard up in here. Like I got some sort of like some tool shit. Yeah. I wanted to do, no, I'm serious. I wanted over on the side here on this little wall next to my window, next to this window, I wanted to do a pegboard goes all the way to the ceiling and stops at the top of my desk, and I wanted to have it so that I could put like hooks and shit. Because you get right here, if you view this thing right here, fucking this, it's like I feel like I'm a weatherman. This region right here is my fucking cord drawer, and I got all my fucking routers and my weed box on top of it right there. There's the weed box. What I'd like to do is get all those cords either in like one of those little bins that you put up in the. You've seen people with awesome tool box fucking shit. That's what I want. I want it to be like over here. I want things to have like a place or some sort of organization, because I literally live in a postage stamp, and it's it's hard to like. I have this desk, and sometimes it looks really, really nice. If I put one thing on this desk, you might as well destroy it. You might as well burn it down, because if I put one piece of fucking mail on this desk, if I put one fucking cord on this desk, one controller, it's destroyed. I have no space for anything. I got to get stuff like up.
Put it up.
My whole house is like BioShock Infinite. We got to go up. Everything's got to go up in the fucking sky. I'm going to build my whole city in the clouds. Like, I'm imagining, like, you know, those people that have the fucking man caves where they got the what do you call it? The fucking train tracks that go right above just below their ceiling all the way around. I'm imagining like a fucking knickknack shelf that just starts in my kitchen and goes all the fucking way around, and it just has a bunch of shit on it, so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Or just bins. I just want 5,000.
Looks like an airplane. Your overhead
bins.
overhead cargo.
I wanted to look like I hired Amazon to put one of those fucking Amazon lockers that you see in airports in here. You just fucking have locker bins and shit that are just labeled junk fucking number 1, junk number 2, other shit. That's what I feel. And then, oh my God, my bedroom is so bad. It's like, it's got enough room for like a queen mattress and a fucking end table, and that's it. I just want like a Zen garden fucking bedroom where I got nothing in it. Nobody even knows where my clothes are. Brent, where do you keep your clothes? Where are they? They're outside.
Under the
They're
carpet.
in the shed. I keep them closed. I folded all of them and put them underneath the carpet for padding. Every day when I get dressed, I gotta fold up one corner of the fucking carpet, take my pants out. How much farther do I gotta put my bed? Do I have to build a loft for my bed? That's what I'm asking, really. Do I have to put my bed?
It would be nice, but your ceilings are about 2 feet above the ground too.
But luckily, I don't have a ceiling fan so that my face gets chopped off. Essentially, what I could do is I could bring the bed maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 more feet up in the air, put some other bullshit underneath it, and call it a day. And put a ladder next to it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to sit up. You'd have to roll out.
Roll out. Boom, boom, boom. I bought a bed frame, like a wicked tall one. It was like the tallest one I could find on Amazon. And then I had this delusion that I was gonna do like all of this like organizational shit. Like I bought these like little like foldable box things that I could put under there. I was like, yeah, I could fucking take the dressers out of here, and I could just do clothes underneath the bed and have those slide out drawers. I mean, what I was really looking for is probably a captain's bed, but the problem with a captain's bed is that I got so little room on each side of my fucking bed that you can't even pull the fucking drawer out to get the shit from it. So what am I supposed to do? So I had the grand idea of putting under these fucking slidey bins and putting a bunch of shit in it, clothes and blankets and, you know, normal people living in a house shit, apartmenttherapy.com, right? So then, suddenly, for no reason, once I got the bed up on the frame, I started putting shit like my fucking guitars and instruments and pianos and fucking everything else on there. So it's just a big jumble of fucking Brent's stupid equipment that he never uses underneath the bed. And I mean, I'm sure you could fucking relate to this. Underneath Dillon's bed is the same thing. Stuff I don't use no more. It's like, underneath my bed, I could put a listing on Let Go where I just take a picture of what's underneath my, like, just take a picture of underneath my bed and be like, take a guess, I got it, and
For
I'll sell it to you.
for $100, you can reach your hand under my bed and grab whatever you can. One hand.
Listen, one time, one hand, $100. You don't get a re-grab. Whatever you touch, you get $100. People be lining up. Because if I just gave them a sample of what's under there, they could come out with a $500 item. They could come out with the $100 item. I got a whole range under there. I got everything. I have to sell stuff. I have so much shit. It's crazy. And it drives me insane. It's like, again, that bullshit cord drawer behind me is really a testament to how much shit I have, because shit comes with cables. I mean, as we know, when you order something, the two things that come with a something that you order online are fucking boxes and packaging.
Well,
and cables.
You started to solve that problem just by leaving your cables in a different state in hotel rooms.
Listen, if
the only cable that you only have one of.
I'm telling you this right now, it couldn't get more ironic than that. Because I have the cable that this microphone is hooked to this computer. I have at least 20 of.
Yeah, I do too. The printer cable?
The printer cable, easily, if I got rid of every single, I'm gonna say probably 2 cables, I would need more than any other cable in the world. And it's printer cables and lightning cables. That's it. If I had back here, if I got rid of every other goddamn cable I own, I would just need printer cables and lightning cables. That's it. And I could figure out how to do the rest. Not even like micro USB anymore, because the only thing I guess I had, the only thing is PlayStation. So I guess that's 3. Micro USB, printer, lightning. Done. Probably after this, I'm gonna just tear apart all those drawers and get rid of every other cable but that one.
Throw them out the fucking window.
And then next week, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna find myself wanting to play with one of these stupid items from my pet, because don't you always get kind of a little bit of an inkling of that every once in a while. Every once in a while, you get some delusion that you're like, I'm going to take out my drum pads and my drumsticks and I'm going to do something on those and I'm going to hook up a bunch of shit. And then you get all that stuff out and then you put it all back and then it just sits there for another month. And then you don't sell it because I use it that one time. I'm not going to sell it. What if I need it again? And then that's another set of cords you fucking need, because it needs power and it needs everything else. Cords are strangling me is the general point of the seminar. I'm going to hang myself with an instrument cable.
You're not going to be able to do it from your ceiling because your feet will still be touching the ground.
I'm going to have to put myself in one of my fucking stupid boxes that I put underneath my bed and hang myself with that so that my feet can't touch the ground. It's so bad because it's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I pay $7.25 a month for this little postage stamp apartment because it's super close to Saratoga, right? I can go do stuff downtown and I can do some shit and live in a nice little area with my yard and have a fucking fire. Like, that's all the cool shit about it. The not cool shit is where, like, I want to have a little studio office fucking thing. Basically, somebody buying a house is just another place for them to put their shit. That's what the general rule of thumb is do you feel the need to move out of your house? It's more than likely the reason why you feel you need to move out of your house is not because of the fact that there might be mice living in my ceiling or anything like that. I don't give a shit. Live up there. You don't come in here.
I don't use it up there.
Yeah, you're not bothering me. Just do what you got to do up there. Live your life. The problem is the cords. I want to move out of my house because I got too many cords and I need a place to put them. If I go shopping for a fucking apartment, if I find one out there in the world and I'm looking around in closets, they're like, don't worry, there's enough closets for your clothes. Bitch, I'm not talking about my clothes. I need space for cords. Where's the cords gonna go? Half the kitchen is gonna have kitchen shit in it, and then the other half of the cabinets is gonna be for cords. Put all the cords in there so that I can have access to them. And then the rest of it, I can set up my fucking nice little battle station. Well, all the way that I want it. I'm not in my own living room next to my own TV. I want my own space. Or my own shit in it. Little man cave with all my
So you don't gotta see that you don't use it. It's just away behind the door.
Exactly. Because all it does here is I'm just sitting on the couch over here watching a fucking episode of Game Grumps having an existential crisis. And then I look over at my fucking computer that's got all this equipment in it. And I'm just like, yeah, I could go over there and make something, but
fuck it.
I was going to turn on my console and fucking play the same maps on
YouTube.
WW2 fucking over and over and then get sick of that and watch YouTube for the rest of my life. That's my day. It's like I have portals to infinite creativity existing on a laptop that I could sit on my couch and use, or a 27-inch monitor that has access to a fucking graphics card at least capable of editing, displaying video, playing different shit, the processing power to handle multiple applications at the same time, this thing called Photoshop that I could use to make something. But instead, I'm just wondering about my cables and what the fuck to do with those. And then I don't do anything, and then I go to bed. Happy day. So, we were talking about games. I should make a cable management VR game. Like one of those job simulators.
Like Football Manager or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Cable Manager 2018. Bam, 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 bam. So, what else?
I don't know. Did I tell you? I mean, I know I told you, but like SteamWorld Dig 2, I've been playing that a lot. That's real fun.
How much is
that? 20.
That's not bad.
No.
Is that what is that? It's not a rogue, is it?
No.
Or is it a rogue?
It's kind of a Metroidvania. Except you're digging down.
Right.
So you're mining. You go down. You mine.
Does it have a collection element?
Yes.
To the mining?
Yeah. Okay. There's like gems and stuff, and then you go back to town and you sell them and you upgrade your equipment, and then there's missions that you go on to to proceed go through the game that'll give you power up. So right now I'm at the end of it, and I end up with a grappling hook, a jetpack, like a jackhammer type thing to get through bigger rocks, a pickaxe.
The goal of this is more driven by the fact that you just want the next shit to make even bigger.
No, you're stuff. Well, it's the sequel, and you're one of the characters from the first game, and you're trying to find the character that you play as in the first game.
Okay.
You're looking for him, and so you think he's like down in the mines or whatever. So you're digging down to try to find him, and you upgrade as you dig on.
So you hit certain things in the game where you can't get through it because you need bigger, better equipment.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
In order to do it.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of that. I've played
bigger,
a lot of games
bigger, better
really...
equipment, and also like different traversal stuff. Like some parts you can't get through, but all of a sudden you have this like little jetpack and this grappling hook, and you can like you string together like stuff to where you're not touching the ground at all.
Right.
To get to a different part of the underground.
That's pretty cool. I might. If
and
I
then there's like
this...
little like rooms that are basically like challenge rooms or whatever, where you gotta do like certain like platform and stuff, and you get that that's where you get like the upgrade so there's two different types of upgrades. There's like the stuff you use the money on, and then there's like cogs in the world that give you like you figure like a tech tree, like in an RPG game. You know how
Right.
like oh, I want to spec into this, like spec into like the way this. So you use the cogs to kind of like spec into like the upgrade. So you buy the upgrade for the bag, so you can hold more stuff. But then you could get like a power up for the bag that when it's full, you could, if you ditch something, you get some of the money from ditching it. So like there's like that aspect of the game too, that makes you you actually go to the rooms, like to find the secret like caves that are in the underground and find the cogs and stuff through them.
Interesting. Well, you've cost me another $20. I don't know how long it's going to take me to beat Celeste.
If only I mean, if you buy SteamWorld Dig 2, that's a good like. Okay, I'm sick of Celeste. I'm gonna go and actually accomplish. I'm gonna go dig. I'm gonna just go do some digging.
It sounds more like a palate cleanser because of the fact that it's not so fucking stressful.
There's some tough parts in it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably the platforming elements in certain parts are probably real hard.
Yeah,
but...
some of the stuff you got to dance around, like with the grappling hook. But it's fun to grapple and juggle
it's
that
not
stuff.
that you got a health meter, right?
Yeah, you do have a health meter. It's not one hit kills. And you can upgrade your health meter. You could just start digging and getting stuff to sell up top. That'll make your health meter huge, so you don't even got to worry about it.
I'm telling you right now. In most games, this is how you can tell that this is how you can tell the progression that I'm going to make in a game, especially if it has RPG type elements to it. Like even something like a Destiny. Every single power up that I am looking for stats wise is going to bring my health bar into oblivion. I'm looking for like triple health bars on everything.
Well, see this. I mean, this is another way they get you to prevent you from like going too fast through it. Is that you have a lantern, that like your light around you runs out when your lantern runs out. So you got to go up top.
One of the other things that you got to upgrade is the capacity of the lantern.
Exactly, and like once you get to the end, like at this point, I have everything so like high up that I don't worry about anything when I go down. Like I could dig forever.
That to me speaks to a very classic style of platforming and gameplay. That's why to me a game like Castlevania is so fucking good. Because something like Bloodlines or some of the earlier ones didn't really have anything like that. Symphony of the Night was the first thing to really go far enough on the part of where if you get to the end of it, you feel like a fucking $1 million. I mean, that's what you really want.
You feel like $1 million, but it's also it's like an invisible gate in the beginning of the game to where you're not blowing through it to make it seem like, you know what I mean? That's
another good one is how I felt when I was playing Saints Row 5. I played quite a bit of it on PC.
4?
5. 5 was the one that was way out of the fucking. That's the aliens.
Oh, that's 5. I thought that was 4.
Saints Row 5 is the Saints Row 4 is Gat Out of Hell.
That's the one you're talking about.
Or no, that's the expansion for 5. 4 is the fucking. I can't remember the fourth one. Damn it. 5 is definitely the aliens.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. Cause now that I think about it, because 3 was the last one that was
not weird.
Not weird, and then they came out with 4, which was like real weird, and then 5 is.
5 is
you're
like
the president.
What the fuck?
You're the president in the beginning, and it gets taken over, and you go into what is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
I didn't get that far enough through it. I got about halfway through the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're in like a
bubble type
like
of
an
thing.
immersion or what's
yes, you're in a Matrix.
A Matrix type thing, yeah.
The part about that game that kind of fills that same sort of reward center is you get to a certain point where you're running so fast through the city and jumping so
It's like
high.
Crackdown.
Yes, exactly. You're getting to the point where you don't have to use vehicles anymore. Because at first, it's a Grand Theft Auto type thing. Where it starts to diverge is where, like in the case of Grand Theft Auto, you're always going to have to use a vehicle because you're not a superhuman
As I say, it's just a
hacking.
super. It's just a superhero simulator at this point. Simulation.
You,
That's the word I was looking for. You're in
yes,
the alien simulation of Earth.
you you get to that point of like where you're in like the third Matrix where Neo is so stupidly powerful that you're like bending reality and shit. But in a certain way, sometimes you want a game like that with no limits, no nothing. Like you're so stupidly overpowered that you can go anywhere, do anything, fight anything. And for some reason in a case like that, it doesn't get boring. Like I I just lost track of it because I changed computer like literally I they changed computers and rebuilt and reformatted everything and I just never reinstalled it.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, that game was very addicting just based on that alone. Is that you wanted to get to the point where you're like, yeah, faster, I gotta run faster. Yeah, gotta jump higher,
Okay.
gotta climb higher, gotta shoot more shit, gotta blow up more shit. Um, just running around was crazy. Just being like, just fucking like practically teleporting everywhere. That was very satisfying. Very satisfying gaming experience. But Steam World, I'll pick it up. That's definitely a possibility. After this weekend of
The f-
spending $5 million, what's another 20?
the first one is actually just came out on Switch too. That one's only
Is it?
$10.
Oh, all right. Should I play? Does it even? I mean, I
I
can't
I,
imagine it
I never
matters, but
played it.
huh?
I just heard the second one was. I mean, the second one's gonna be better. So if you're gonna get
Yeah,
one, just get the second one.
yeah. It's not something that's
And
contingent
if
on
I
plot or
feel
anything
like
like
the
that.
second one, then
Maybe
I'd
play
say
it.
then pick up the first one and play it. Like I might pick up the first one and play it just to see what it's.
Yeah. Uh, I just can't wait for Dead Cells. I can't wait for I really would. I'd like to play Bayonetta. Um, because it's I like those kind of games a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't played one in a very long time. Um, I found a lot of times though that when I was playing like sort of later iterations of Devil May, well, actually, almost to me, and this is really the only criticism that I have for those games. Devil May Cry is very closed in. It's supposed to be. It's a linear hack and slash game. I just feel like sometimes when I'm playing it, the environments are a little hallway-ish. They're all hallways. Every environment I'm in is a hallway. Every environment I'm in is a tiny little room or
Hallway to an arena. Hallway to
hallway
an
to a new
arena.
arena. Yeah. And I don't know if that's necessarily like a real problem because again, enemies have to come from somewhere and you do have to get some sort of sense that they're like ganging up on you. They're all around you.
Yeah.
I can't really imagine an open world Devil May Cry game. It doesn't really make sense. But in the same vein, I kind of with those type of games, I always kind of am like, I just want it to look bigger or look prettier or do something. Just be bigger, bit larger. Some God of War probably did the best job at doing that, where you do feel like it's not a hallway. You're actually expanding. You're heading into a world. You're doing something.
There's like a lot of climbing and stuff in God of War too, so I guess that's probably why you get
Yeah, they
more of
don't
that
really
on
have.
that.
Now that I think about it, Jesus, you don't really have that mechanic in Devil May Cry. You're just running up fucking stairs for your entire
Yeah,
life.
so
Um, the so Bayonetta, I still like. I would like to play it. I just don't know if it would seem repetitive. It's supposed to be, kinda. Whatever.
whatever.
It's creative. That's the other thing. They get me with the creativity a lot of times with those type of things. Is like how, is it real wacky or fucking zany or some shit like that, which I like. I mean, that's I like that's the other one. That's the other type of game where the weapon upgrades are actually pretty appealing to me. Some of the Devil May Cry ones were real boring. Like, did the weapon upgrades really matter? No, they don't. You could stick with the same thing you always had and just max the stats out and get through the whole. You don't really. There's sometimes they force you into selecting another weapon or using another weapon or whatever because it's so way overpowered. You can't just stick with your old shit. But sometimes it's boring. There was a couple Devil May Cries where like you'd get some cool ass weapons and it felt very satisfying. 3, 4, not so much. The remake had some great weapons in it. The DMC or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the most closed-in levels, though. The remake, that was real hallway shit. In those, I mean, it was very similar to 3. But yeah, I'll have to give Bayonetta a shot. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really wanted to play. But I really should probably focus on
what you already have.
Well, not even just because some of the stuff that I already have isn't necessarily like what I really need to do is I really need to install the New Order and finish that. But also I really need to figure out how to I wish I could rewind it a little just to get a fucking recap, but I can't do that.
Just restart it. It's only a 12-hour game. How
yeah.
far were you?
Oh boy, I had gotten to the stronghold. I had moved through the first part of the missions involving the Nazi headquarters. What is it called?
I don't remember.
The fucking Nazi base play, whatever. The first couple sections of that I'd finished. I can't remember the next major story beat. I remember doing the thing where I went through I drove through the gates.
Oh, and
I beat all those fucking robots. After that was the one part that I hated more than anything else was when I was in an area where it was like 2 floors and there was like a chain gun on the second floor I think it was a chain gun that I was trying to use. I was getting it was hard every single time and I finally beat it. And then two missions after that was when the game got corrupted. So that's going to piss me off if I have to restart it and move through that shit again. But I'll see. Maybe I'll start recalling stuff if I can't come back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to play it again. I just was so turned off by what happened that I got pissed and bought Horizon.
And didn't play that either.
Another game that I have to finish, yes, which is a much longer game. Not by much though. What did you say that game was? I remember we talked about it.
Yeah, I was rethinking it. You could probably mainline it in about 20.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes there's to me in my mind, there's an intimidation factor with some of the longer games that if I know they're long, that I'm just like, I think largely I like more complete experiences that happen in a shorter period of time. And I know a lot of times that doesn't give you a lot of opportunity for some world building or to do, anything that's like worthwhile or, character development and shit like that. And a lot of games use that time to really but there's a limit. Final Fantasy, that's beyond the limit. You've developed the characters.
I get it.
I understand what they're about. After the first goddamn 30 hours, I'm going to totally get and understand what these characters are about and the story and whatever it is. At a certain point, you have it. I feel like probably the happy medium is probably the Wolfensteins and the horizons at the top end. That's the length of game I'm looking for. And even less than that, because I had a very profound experience with stuff like Oxenfree and Doki Doki and some of those, like, just play it as an art piece, 4 to 5 hour long game, boom, you're done. And that is very satisfying to me most of the time. I like when things are succinct. And I mean, a lot of times they more end up being a story game. You're not exactly going to play a 4-hour platformer and want to pay $20 for a 4-hour platformer. Not going to work like that. You want to pay $20 for like a nice, beautiful, engaging story that, you know, the Edith Finches and the Unfinished Swans and the, what's that one where it's everybody's gone to the rapture and all that shit. You know what I mean? I feel like I really like those games. I kind of got into a little bit of that type of game a little bit ago and wanted to do more of that type of stuff. So I might try to spend some afternoons just being like, I'm going to get a game and I'm going to finish it. I mean, it's going to be done. And I'm going to and I know I'll like it. I mean, like Edith Finch and some of these other ones, those are real short and just a nice little story. Boom, you're out. Bound is a great example of that, where it is really confusing, though. I will say that. I get what they were trying to tell me, first of all. Like, it was very I mean, it was thinly veiled, and you could maybe take it a couple different ways, but I get it. I know what they were trying to say. It was a very beautiful game. It's obviously fell short on some control problems. That's definitely a thing. But I really just found that to be like, there was just a very like, wow, that was really great. Like, I just like games like that. It was just like, wow, that's fucking nuts. And then you're done. Oxenfree, Bound, all these types of games. So, and also the cool part about that is that you feel like you could do it. If you had the idea in place, you could, if you wanted to. The Undertales of the world. It's just it's a really nice story. It's the indie darling that everybody loves because it's sort of just, it unfolds, it happens, somebody made it, it's just a guy. And you know, like, that's kind of cool to me. I mean, you and I were talking about that a little bit, how you were saying that, like, there are some games where, you know, if you just want to create like a nice couple puzzles that has a nice story in it, you know, you could do that. You could get into your game maker, or what is that? What I think that was what Undertale was written in.
Yeah, I think so.
It was just like a game maker 4 or 5 or whatever it's up to. It's so, I mean, and the Unities, that gets into where you're, you know, if you want to do the 3D stuff, that's certainly a thing. But honestly, to get it done with pixels and to make you feel the same way or have the same experience as you would doing something that's more not challenging, but just visually arresting. I mean, pixels can be visually arresting. That's 100% true. I mean, Owlboy is a very beautiful. I mean, that's an extremely good-looking game. It's like super pretty, and it's pixely. Sometimes you get it, and sometimes you go above the cliche in some cases, because it's like, oh, cool, another pixel art retro game by some, you know, whatever. Owlboy goes a little bit above that. Dead Cells goes a little bit above that. Hyperlight goes a little bit ahead of that. Those games are definitely more not just phoning it in, not just making a pixel art game just because you want to or because it's easy. It's not easy. I would say probably to make something like Owlboy and make it look that good and play like that is nuts, because you're not working in the old systems anymore. You know what I mean? To code Mario, to make Mario, was fucking 1.2 megabytes or whatever it is. You're in the system you're in, you got the colors you got, and that's what you're doing. To make something like Owlboy, which looks like old, like it looks like it's that, but it's also like a painting, that's tough. To create those backgrounds and all that shit, oh my god. I just couldn't imagine it. Trying to just be one person making a fucking game like that. Makes me almost want to make one, but you know, I got an album to write.
I got couches to sit on and YouTubes to watch.
I got an album to never write and beats that'll just go unfinished sitting on my laptop, and then I watch YouTube again, and then I'll watch, and then it's an endless cycle. Then I'll watch like Andrew Wong or Eddie Huang or whatever the fuck his name is from Tekken.
And then I'll die.
I'll watch him, and then I'll be like, I should probably get back to work on that shit that I was doing, and then I'll work for another hour on trying to get some beat together for something, and then I'll scrap it, and then I'll watch some more YouTube, and then I'll get back to some other shit that it's like with the mandolin shit. You're like, I want to learn how to play mandolin. So you watch people on YouTube play mandolin. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna get up on that mandolin right now. You try to learn some shit. It's frustrating, and then you go back to playing video games. Thus is life. What do you have to say about that?
Nothing.
Huh? Huh?
Nothing.
All right. How do you feel right now?
Like we're done.
Good for you. Good for you. I'll go back to my YouTube now. I won't do anything that I just talked about.
Yep.
That's how you do it.
You talked about it though, Brent. So
Listen,
that's, you might as well have just done it. I mean, it might as well be done.
The first step is admitting you have a problem. Oh, guys. Remember, if you even give a shit, audio versions of this podcast will be posted below this video for your enjoyment. You can hear me talk in my beautiful baritone about how I'll never do anything. If that's your bag, this is the podcast for you. This is and has been the Jack It Off podcast. Until 3 weeks from now, I'm out.